You are listening to This is Oklahoma, hosted by Mike Hearn, telling stories of Oklahomans and those that have made it their home.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of This is Oklahoma Podcast. Mike Hearn here, your host, back with another episode. Excited to share this episode with you today, but before we do, I've got to thank our sponsors. First of all, the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. They've been a huge part of this podcast for the last few years. So the Oklahoma Hall of Fame have been sharing Oklahoma's story through its people since 1927. For more information on the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, go to www.oklahomahof.com. And for daily updates, go to oklahomahof on Instagram and give them a follow. Our other sponsor today is Chickasaw Nation. Now, the Chickasaw Nation have sponsored pretty much everything in Oklahoma. They're a huge supporter of Oklahoma. And it's an honor to have their name and their brand supporting this podcast. A huge shout out to Governor Anatobi for supporting this podcast. It really means a lot. Our third sponsor is Diffie Ford Lincoln down in El Reno. Now, this one makes me so happy because these guys are great friends of mine, play a lot of golf together. I've bought my cars from them, do most of my oil changes down there, have a cup of coffee, hang out down in El Reno. It's a good spot to go. And not only are they great friends, but they provide a great service. So for over 60 years, third generation family owned Oklahoma business down in El Reno. They're also in Bethany as well. So people in the Bethany area know the Diffies really well. But if you're looking for anything new, used, Ford, Lincoln, or whatever, I'm sure they could find anything you want. Check them out, diffieford.net, and then on Instagram at diffiefordlincoln. This episode is presented by Citizens Bank of Edmond. Citizens Bank of Edmond has been serving Edmond since 1901. They pride themselves on investing in the community and are here for all your personal and business banking needs. For more information, go to mycitizens.bank and follow them on Instagram at citizensedmond, as well as go bank there, because I bank there too. It's been a fantastic personal experience for me. I've had my podcast account there now, my podcast business account there now for 4 years now, I think, and it's been fantastic. So definitely worth your time. They're a great group of people, and they're always there to answer the phone when I forget my password, because I seem to forget it daily. So yeah, go to Citizens Edmond and check them out. It's been awesome. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of This is Oklahoma. Mike Hearn here, host, back with another episode. Got a cowboy podcast for you today and cowgirl podcast for you today. Gives me great pleasure to introduce to you from Oklahoma Cowboys, Seanell and Jakian. Jakian. I told you I was going to mess it up, right?
Everybody said Jakian.
And I'm going to go back to my podcasting, back to my accent and tell you. And I'm going to leave that in because I'm a real person. And I make mistakes. Right. So, Jakian on the podcast. Thank you guys for coming down. I'm excited to dive into the story.
Definitely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So, when people ask you what is Oklahoma Cowboys, what do you tell them it is?
I tell them it's a community-based organization that make you feel like you're a part of the family.
Yeah. And what family is that?
The black community family, the black cowboy culture in Oklahoma.
Okay. And for people who don't know much about like what that black community of cowboy culture is, and I kind of see it. I see it on social media, and there's some epic photographers who've captured a lot of it. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's not from here, and he comes down to a lot of the small town rodeo stuff, and it's like real content. Mm-hmm. None of that kind of perfected like, ooh, look, it's like this is the real stuff. So I'm aware of it, but for listeners listening, tell me what that is and what that means to you guys at the moment.
Oklahoma Cowboy. Well, I'm gonna give you a backstory where Oklahoma Cowboys kind of started and where it is now. Oklahoma Cowboys started in honor of my aunt. Growing up in the rodeo world, I would tag along with her and go to rodeos every weekend with her all through the summer. And about 2018, see, I'm getting stirred up. 2018, she got sick, very sick, and she went to the hospital for a whole entire year. And in 2019, on May 1st, she passed away of cancer, a short battle of cancer. And so I haven't been to a rodeo since. The last rodeo I went to was about 2017. And so I went to a rodeo again about 2021, and I was doing a photo project called The Rodeo Record. And it was an art based photo series of Black Cowboys in Oklahoma. And as I was out there, I was like, this is more than just like a photo series. This is like a community that needs to be highlighted on a bigger level. That like, why does no one know about Black Cowboys in Oklahoma? So that's where it kind of all started at Oklahoma Cowboys. So it basically took off from there. Like I got a bigger vision of what I wanted to do. So all to say, it's in honor of my aunt Shay. Made me feel closer to her.
Yeah. Seanell, how do you get involved?
Well, me and Jakian met whenever he was about 17 years old. We met on Instagram. I model, I make clothes. He's a photographer. He's in high school still. And I was like 21, 22 whenever he was 17. So he hit me up like, hey, do you want to be a part of this group photo shoot I got going? I was like, yeah. So we planned it all out. We met, and then when we met, it was just like we hit it off. Like we just started creating together. Like, my bad. We just started creating it together, and it just took off from there. Cause we were just like, hey, you want to go do a photo shoot?
Right.
Like we would go, like, we want to go eat, want to go do a photo shoot. Yeah. So it's just been like that for years. And then he started going to rodeos and inviting me, but it was like a project. Like, you know, he has projects, he has like series. He did Black Excellence. A lot of people that know him and started off, know when he first started photography, did a big project called Black Excellence. So it was like, I would just tag along with him, go and do these projects, but this project got turned into much more. It was like, oh, this ain't just a project, this is like a lifestyle. Yeah. So, we met whenever we were a little bit younger. I've been seeing all this since he would just he would grab a couple of models and say like, hey, get dressed, let's shoot. And it's just stemmed from that. We used to do editorials, like high fashion editorials. We haven't done that.
Yeah, because like more now is been like driven towards like community and like real life.
Capturing real photos. We're not like setting up photo shoots no more.
Yeah, like, it's more like just like so what's organic. Going on in the moment. And like, so now back when she's talking about editorial, I do miss doing the editorial stuff. So I would like, now I'm moving in towards like a area of like, okay, I'll get a family and we'll do an editorial shoot with them, and it's still based around community and authentic. And we'll go shoot in their house and their environment. And so that's what I do. That's where I'm moving into now.
Where does the love of photography come from for you? It sounds like that's where it all starts.
Yeah.
I remember you showing me your photography, and when you were 17, you showed me what you used to do with your friend. It was so cute.
I used to have an iPhone, and I would, on family trips, that was my little camera back in the day, and I would use Visco as the editing app, and that's how it kind of all started.
If you showed us the photos right now, they were good. This is a 16, 17-year-old kid taking these photos. I'm like, what? Yeah. Where'd you go? You was in like Puerto Rico or something on the streets?
It was Jamaica.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. I'm like, you took these? He like, yeah. It's just like nothing to him. I'm like, oh yeah.
So what timeline is that then? That's like, when were you born? So figure out the timeline on that.
It's like 2017.
That was like that was 2018 when I went to the Bahamas. Okay. It was Bahamas, not Jamaica, yeah.
So still fairly recent.
Yeah, it was still fairly recent. Yeah. But in high school, I was in yearbook and I was the head photographer. And so that's when I started to pick up a real camera. Yeah. And that's where it kind of got off into something real.
Right.
Yeah.
So during this time then, like, you're in high school, what do you think you're going to do when you know, like, what are you like in mindset at this time, thinking like, I'm going to get a job, what do I want to do, I'm creative, like
I was thinking that
be asleep in class. Out with the big dogs all night.
I really did think like I was going to be shooting for big magazine companies.
So that was really
that was and because I was also in journalism too. And so it's a yearbook in journalism, so I was my vision that I was gonna go shoot high fashion, because at that time it was all editorial work that I was doing. Yeah, it was all like models, and we'll have like hair and makeup, and we'll go find a location. It was like I was shooting for magazines, but it was just for me.
Yeah, like I would literally go get my hair braided.
Yeah,
like sitting in a chair for 10 hours for this photo shoot. That like seriously, make it.
That I just made up in my head.
Outfit, everything.
Yeah.
After this, we'll show you.
Yeah, I gotta see some of these photos
because we don't have it on our pages no more like that.
All archived.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is all kind of going on. You think I want to be in, I'm taking journalism. I want to be a high fashion photographer. Are you thinking like I'm going to go to university? I need to go to New York and be where it's at, or are you thinking somewhere else?
No. Yep. I thought I was like, I need to go to New York. And at first, I was like, I gotta move. I gotta get out of Oklahoma, because Oklahoma didn't appreciate the high fashion work as as New York and LA and Atlanta would do, like appreciate it. So I was like, I gotta go. So there was a point of a time where I was like, I gotta get out of here. Yeah. But I found the Cowboys, and that would maybe stay. And I'm not ever moving now.
What?
I found the Cowboy community and how much it needed to be showcased, and moved in another direction. Yeah. So
the way you're speaking about Oklahoma Cowboys is the same way I feel about This Is Oklahoma. It wasn't meant, like it wasn't a plan. It just happened. And I fell in love with it, and you just kind of run with it, right? You just double down. And
right.
You just get into it. And then, like I said, you meet the people in the community, and you hear all the stories. And next thing you guys do is
there's so many stories.
And do a podcast, because it's the easiest way to capture stories.
Right. And there's so many stories that are still need to be told
for sure.
of Oklahoma. Yeah. Like even beyond the Cowboys, like at our HBCU, and how much the significance of that is in Oklahoma too. Like, that's a whole nother project I've been thinking about too. So
what is kind of like the current state then of high fashion in Oklahoma? Have they recognized it since you kind of had that moment early on? Has it changed in the last 6-7 years?
I feel like it definitely has.
Yeah.
It definitely has, and it's just like,
I feel like we did.
It's just like Oklahoma as a whole.
Right.
We're just stepping up. Like Oklahoma City is like growing like crazy, and we travel places, so I feel like people here can dress. They dress really good. It's super high fashion. Like the people that know what they're doing, they're like, oh wow, this looks like an outfit I see in New York. Like, it's just a very small community of very high fashion and artsy people.
Because when you go to New York, it's like everybody's
like that. You go into anywhere, LA, wherever, they're all like that. But you have to go to certain events here to see that. It's not everywhere.
It's not every day that like someone's really paying attention to what they're putting on and dressing.
We dress up some extra stuff, and people are like, where are you going?
Like, what are you going to?
It's like, man, this is just my day. I go to the grocery store.
And I second that too, because I had a men's fashion wear, Stephen Giles, who has Stephen Giles clothing, and his is all Ivy League stuff, so it's kind of very preppy type. And he's had his clothing store for a long time, and he's old, has gray hair now, and he's been doing it forever. But he said the same thing, and I think we said the same thing on that podcast, was like, you should have a purpose when you dress up in the day, right? In the morning, you should have a purpose of what you're going to look like, and that's kind of like your style. And he's just kind of like, why are you like sweatpants and t-shirts or whatever? He's just like, no.
He's like complete opposite.
Yeah, he's just like wears like pants and a suit or like a jacket, and he looks.
But that's why his business staying in style, because they're not looking for. They're like, hey, I just need to get through the day. Adam Sandler it up.
Shout out to Adam Sandler.
Yeah, shout out to Adam Sandler.
So this is all going on. You guys obviously get connected. You kind of click really well. You're doing photo projects. You're just like, just for the fun of it, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about the moment then that you kind of get into, like you mentioned, the kind of Oklahoma Black Cowboy scene, and you just see that, and you're like, hang on a second, I'm going to stay in Oklahoma now because there's something here. Tell me about that moment.
Yeah, I want to know that too. Hold on. That's a good one.
Is there like a light bulb? What happened?
Like, which rodeo was you at? Where was you at?
Well, I always been knowing rodeo, so it's just like, I would say the Old Muggy rodeo that really sparked the bug light to me. That was like, I don't know. It's just like when I was creating and making content of the Cowboys and, you know, building Oklahoma Cowboys. And I was just like, there's no way I could not ever leave because this gotta go somewhere. So, rodeo wise, I would say Omuggy.
Okay.
That was like, oh my gosh, there's something here.
But you just kept probably just like, oh, I have an idea.
Yeah, there was just so many ideas that just kept coming up as I was continuing to build.
And that's just to kind of shoot the high fashion stuff.
Yeah.
But within this kind of rodeo community that's just so raw and natural and like, don't change anything, just dress this, put this on and do what you do.
Right. Yep.
The guy I was thinking of earlier, it's he goes by 8 Sacks on Instagram. It's this guy.
Oh, Ivan. Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So he's
Ivan,
the guy I follow. So he's the guy.
I knew
I knew
he
he was talking about Ivan too. But yeah,
he's
Ivan.
the guy I was thinking about. And I saw
Ivan
his
is dope.
stuff.
Yeah.
I saw his
Did we
stuff.
meet him at a rodeo?
Yeah, we met him at.
He's traveled.
Yeah, he was at the last Omuggy rodeo.
Okay.
Yeah, Ivan is killing the game.
Stuff, right?
Yeah,
and I was like, dude, whenever you come to town, like I just want to tag along because for me, like I didn't grow up anywhere near a horse, right, or anywhere near rodeo or cowboys, and then coming out here, like the traditional general sense that you see of a cowboy, like you might go down to Stockyard City and like you see a guy driving a truck or whatever it is, right? But you don't see the community you guys are in,
right?
And so like I'm fascinated to learn more about it and share that story because, and obviously you've seen an opportunity to do that, but what's so different and what's it like, going to a rodeo and being in that community that like, I mean, I would honestly love to, my parents would love it. Like just people who aren't in that community would just love to show up and see it, right?
Right.
What's it like? I mean, what like, why does it give you the buzz? Why do you want to keep doing it?
Shoot, I would say the rodeos feel like a big family reunion.
Yeah.
Like a big family. Yeah, like it's barbecue and everybody just hanging out and the moments before the rodeo is like special. Like it's just a lot of like just like community. It was just like you feel like I don't know like.
And nature on top of it. It's just great to be outside.
Even though you might not know one cowboy, it feels like you've not been knowing them from years and you just met them yesterday. It feels like you've been knowing them from years. That's how I feel at the rodeos.
Okay.
Like I've been feeling like I know everybody for years.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I've been knowing you since back in the day.
Do you both ride horses as well or not?
Yeah, we just started. Yeah, we just started last year.
Yeah.
So we go ride with TK.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a learning experience. We still need to learn how to saddle up and do everything on our own. It's just a learning experience. We only do as much as they allow us to do.
Yeah.
But we love to ride. Like today would be a great day to ride.
Today would be a good day. That's one thing. Like one of my like on my list of things to do this year is to like get comfortable riding a horse.
Okay.
Yeah, come on out with us.
I haven't. I mean, I have, but like it's been a long time, and I had a terrible experience as a kid, and I never gone back to it. But I feel like being out here and around people like yourself, or friends who do that.
If you for real,
he can come.
Yeah, you can come ride.
Yeah. We'll have to do
that would be cool.
Yeah. TK, if you're listening, hook me up.
Yeah, shout out to TK. He be teaching us some stuff for real that we don't know.
Yeah, he does. He tries to teach us more, but we don't. You're always emailing.
Don't text and ride horses.
Right.
So this is like I said, this is kind of going on. You have that moment at Okmulgee, and you're like, this is it, right? I'm not going to New York. My stories are here. It's in my own backyard. What's that first shoot that you guys do?
The first shoot, I would say that was kind of like officials with the Williams brothers, Taylor and his brothers. Okay. That was the first shoot.
And what do you, like I said, when
the first official shoot besides shooting at the rodeos.
Right.
That Taylor and Tanner and Tyler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Who are they?
They are some Cowboys of Reggie Williams. They're Reggie Williams' sons. They're rodeo kids, and so I met them at a rodeo in Jones, and I was like, "Hey, you want to do a photo shoot?" And we met up on the east side and did the photo shoot.
Yeah. What drew you to them and their story, and then what I guess was the vision for like? Because obviously you're very creative, right? So you see someone and you're like, you'd look good.
I will say, when doing that photo shoot, I asked Taylor because he was telling me that his family has deep history with the Pony Express, which Pony Express is an 8-man relay race, that crowd loves it. And so I was asking him, did he have any old footage of like the old Pony Express? And like, I was like, started getting really interested in what he was talking about, because his dad, his father was kind of like one of the first beginners of the Pony Express. And so I was like, that's where it kind of, I was like, let's dig deep right there and like go get some footage and see what we can get there. Yeah. So
Jones have a pretty good rodeo.
Did Jones have
a pretty good rodeo?
Yeah, this is at Wild Horse Arena. Yeah, it was a cool rodeo. Yeah. I think it was one of the first rodeos to start off the season. Yeah, if I recall.
So where do you think, at this time in life then, where do you think this is going? Like, are you just kind of still like following the dream and shooting, kind of taking your high fashion and journalism, brain into like Oklahoma rodeo? How are you making money from this?
It's still, so I would say I'm still like in that life right there. I'm like still like shooting and like just still learning like the rodeo. Like I know the rodeo scene, but learning it today because I haven't been in a long time. So I'm just shooting and just having my camera out, and I'm just posting on social media. At that point, Oklahoma Cowboys was just a page where you just see black cowboys in Oklahoma. But as I progressed with it, I learned that, I was needing to build like a foundation, like a nonprofit, programs and stuff like that to have the Cowboys involved. Yeah. And so in the beginning process, it was all just shooting.
So there was always an element in your mind that was like, we're going to have a foundation and this is going to give back to someone. Yeah. Where does that come from? Why did you decide to do that?
Why did I start to give back to?
No, like where does that, like, because some people might start a business and like, this is for me, I'm doing what I love to do. And like the last thing they think about is giving back and creating a foundation. So I'm interested in what part of you, or maybe your upbringing, tells you that, there's clearly a part of you that's deep down inside your mind that's like, no, I'm going to do this.
I feel like
it's the right thing to do.
I feel like that the Cowboys, in my head, needed like a support. Like, I feel like I wanted Oklahoma Cowboys to be like a support system to the Cowboys. Like, we're here to support you in any type of needs that you need. So that's where the foundation kind of came upon. Yeah.
And you also want to build like generational.
To keep the legacy going. Yeah.
Because, kids these days, they just want to be all types of other stuff. They want to be TikTokers. And they just want to be, we need farms. Yeah. And we need learn how to grow. We need to learn how to have our own everything. So I'm like, that's a big thing that I love that you're doing too. And you want to help the youth.
Because another thing is we got a summer camp coming up this year, this summer in Oklahoma City metro area and the Tulsa area. So teaching the little kids how to become cowboys, how to learn about agriculture and how to grow and stuff like that. So that's the realm of another thing that I wanted to do. Another bigger idea that I have always had in my mind since figuring out the foundation part of Oklahoma Cowboys and also hanging out with the Cowboys is like a campus. Yeah. So more like if you like go to a recreational center and you have like the pool, tennis court, and all that. But imagine that in rodeo aspect, because there's nowhere for them like to practice. There's like nowhere for like, if I want to wake up and I need to go get some like lessons in today. There's nowhere to do that. I don't see it. So I'm just like, they just got only the rodeo is where they can really try to get that little practice in. I mean, they do go to a little arena and just do a little route around the barrels, but I'm talking about like getting some actual work in with your horses. Like as you would play basketball and you want to go get some practice before the game, like. Can we have that for the Cowboys? And so there's nowhere for that to happen. So that's the big goal of Oklahoma Cowboys, is building that recreational center, but rodeo aspect. Yeah.
So tell me how this then progresses, and we'll kind of timeline it up to current day. Okay. You start shooting, you do something, you said with the Williams brothers, is that what it is? With the Williams brothers, the Jones. You're just shooting for fun. I guess, when does it become serious?
So I'll actually tell you, the TikTok video. Okay.
Back to TikTok.
Yeah. No. So, okay. It got, Oklahoma Cowboys was like, I figured out, it took off like within overnight. So I was at a rodeo in Mesquite, Texas. This is the beginning of rodeo season, and I recorded a video of the Pony Express. It was like a practice session. It was like for them to advance over to like the actual night. And so there's actually a word for that, but I can't think off the top of my head. I posted, and I wasn't posting it for it to blow up. At the time, Oklahoma Cowboys probably had like 500 followers. I was just posting just to post, making a little cool reel. And at that time, I was just making reels, and doing content. And so I was at a friend's house. So I recorded the video and posted it to social media. Rodeo went on. Next day, I went back to Oklahoma because this is the rodeo. This was in Texas, and I went to a friend's house. And this is like I would say this is like 2 days later after I posted the video, and I walk in and my phone's buzzing off the hook. Like it keeps buzzing. I'm like, what is going on? I'm just not even thinking. I'm just thinking everybody's liking the video, not thinking nothing of it. And then I was like, hey. My phone just kept going on. Like, there's some. I'm talking about ding after ding after ding, like, follow. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And so I look and I'm like, I found there was this page that had reposted the video I posted, and it had tons of followers. Called Shout Out to Black People's Pets or something like that. They reposted the video. That was a moment that Oklahoma Cowboys took off.
Yeah.
That was a moment that the world. Yeah. That was the moment that the night that Oklahoma Cowboys was on the map. Like everybody was figuring out who Black Cowboys were in Oklahoma.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was really
he was
crazy.
Like, friend, I keep getting a follow. I get a follow.
It was like follow after follow. I was like, dang, this is what it means to blow up overnight.
Viral,
because
baby.
At the time, I was just posting just to post. Yeah. Like I was not caring about if we blew up or not.
Yeah, he was still thinking about editorial stuff.
I was still, it was just like, hey, we blew up. Okay.
Right. But there's a great lesson in that too, though, right? Because you keep doing it. And
after we did blow up, it was still the consistency of like, okay, posting the reel. This one blows up, cool. But it kept going.
Yeah. Like some people are just like, oh yeah, we blew up. They're cool with that. Like they not hungry for no more. No. He stayed consistent, like nothing ever happened. Mm-hmm. I mean, you like how the page was and how he was doing was how it was doing when it had 400 followers.
Yeah, and I took all my marketing skills from my marketing that I was doing other things that I market for. So I took all those marketing skills to Oklahoma Cowboys, and I just market the brand and really figured out a brand, Oklahoma Cowboys. So
and then
that's how it took off, though.
Yeah, and then you like by getting that initial kind of validation of like I'm on the right track here. It kind of pumps you up a little bit, right? You get a little bit more motivational, whatever it is. You're like, no, I'm going to do this. It's just a sign that you're on the right track and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I think that's when you was like, okay, the shirts, the sweaters.
Yeah.
We need a logo.
And I didn't release Oklahoma Cowboys until I had a logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like
this is the first one.
Always had the page. I always had the page, but I never did post until I always had Oklahoma Cowboys out there, but nobody knew who it was until I had the logo.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. So that happens, and you just keep doing your thing. You keep
taking photos, and does
it up to the rodeos? Every rodeo.
Does it change at that point from like high fashion to, or has it always been the same?
No. So there's actually been in my own personal work, I did switch to wanting to do more community-based work, and so that was me going out to the community and highlighting different things of Rochelle, like I met Rochelle at Walmart, and how I met Rochelle, she was in the checkout line. This is when I was working at Walmart, and so she was in the checkout line, and
we were both working at Walmart.
We were both working at Walmart. Nobody knows that.
Yeah, they do now.
The podcast knows that we were working at Walmart together. And so
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
You gotta get the money.
Right.
Dude, that's how he's producing the project.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's coming out my own hustle.
Yes, everything. Walmart. Shout out to Walmart.
But so I met Rochelle, and I was like, man, she was talking to me, and she was actually, I'm not gonna lie, she was actually stealing. And I was like, hey, don't be stealing from Walmart, I was just trying to like be nice, I was like, you need help, I got you. Like,
right.
She was like, but her whole character, just the way she was dressed, the way she was just.
You was like, I know I'll capture her.
I gotta get her. I was like, so I said Rochelle, because I figured out I was like, what's your name? She was like Rochelle, and I was like, she was like Rochelle, and she was like, what's your name? I was like, Jakian. I was like, where you live at? She's like, on the east side. And I was like, in my house. I knew it. I just, like, she just, her whole look and just the way, like, it was just everything that's, like, speaked out to me. So I was like, I gotta do a photo shoot of you. And I was like, I'm a photographer, I like to document people's life and stuff like that. And she was like, come on, baby, come on to my house, come on. So she gave me her address, but she never did give me her phone number. Yeah. So I had to go over there a couple times, and I called you on the phone. Yeah. I'm nervous. I'm knocking on the door. I was like, she didn't answer. So I came over there a second time. This is when you weren't with me.
No, not when you actually shot her.
Yeah, she wasn't there yet. And so I knocked on the door. And I'm like, dang, please answer. Because I don't have her phone number. So I'm like, I really want to do this photo shoot. And when I pull up, the house is just all my vibes. Old school. Yeah. Just the vibes to the T of like what we would shoot on editorial. Yeah. And so I just knew it was just a vibe in the inside. And she wasn't answering the door. But I did hear somebody singing. And she was singing, I'm Just Waiting on the Lord. And on her back porch. And I was like, hey, Rochelle. She was like, baby, I've been waiting for you. Where you been? Because it had been some weeks because I've been busy. And I was like, nope, I got to go see Rochelle. And she's like, baby, I've been waiting to see. Come on inside. And so I went inside, and I was like, as I walked in the door, I died in the inside. I was like, wait till I tell Seanell. It was like gold I found. Like, it was so perfect.
Like, we need to go visit her again.
I know.
It's like those real stories.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it was
exactly what you're looking for.
Exactly what I was looking for, and just everything of how, like, my art and how I want.
Even with how you met her, it was like, all organic.
Yeah, it was organic. So it was just
so natural. I don't know. That was crazy.
So that's where like the community aspect came in. I was like, I gotta highlight because we did like we dressed Rochelle up. You know, in her clothes though, and we did like editorial.
Oh, and her husband too.
Yeah,
like they both got dressed.
Had made them feel real good. Yeah, and so that was where I was like, okay, we gotta do community.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like everything doesn't have to be so organized and put together. Yeah. You can get something like, oh, she has a look.
Yeah,
let's use that.
Because even before I met Rochelle, as I was working at Walmart, working at all these other places, I was man, I'm like, I could use them. I could see them in a movie. I could place them. If I made a movie, I could place them somewhere. Yeah. And so that was just.
We're always scouting new models.
We
still do even though we're not even doing photo shoots and stuff anymore. Yeah. We're more in the cowboy community. We're still like, we just seen a girl at the collective. We're like, hey, let's get your information. We might need you in the future.
Yeah. So that's how the more community aspect came upon. Yeah. Is meeting Rochelle. And before that too. But
Seanell, you just said you're not doing, quote, photos no more. How do you progress then into what it is you're doing now?
I was because I haven't did a photo shoot in a long time. I'm not gonna lie. Besides the Timberland.
Yeah.
And
tell me about that.
Yeah.
They didn't even know he was a photographer.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about that.
We'll get
that is so funny.
We need to set some context first.
So I kind of stopped shooting once the Oklahoma Cowboys took off, and I figured out what the foundation and the business side of everything. I stopped shooting. Okay. I was like, I don't want to shoot no more. I'll have some people shoot for me. Yeah. But I was still wanting to create on. I was just getting into like a business. I've always been business savvy, but it's just like, I don't know. Shooting just had caused a lot more work than it was. For me, shooting wasn't just, oh, let me go shoot. Yeah. Shooting for me was like, we got to get a hairstylist, makeup, all this thing to make the shoot happen. So I was just kind of getting like burnt out on that because in Oklahoma, it's not as easy as if it would be in New York, and it was just kind of hard to collaborate with people and stuff like that because, you know, I was funding everything by myself, so I didn't have all the money in the world. So it was just like, I was just getting burnt out of just all like the collaborating stuff like that. So
within the last 6 months then, which has probably been absolute hellfire for you guys. Yeah. Just like, what have we just been like thrown onto the world stage and putting this community on the map? People clearly start reaching out to you. Mm-hmm. Like, tell me about that. What's that like? Who's reaching out? Are you guys like running around the house freaking out? You're calling each other like, you never guess, right? You never guess who DM me.
Yeah, you gotta tell them how we found out about the Louis Vuitton
thing too. Let's talk about that. You just got back from Paris. Like, talk about Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
So.
And then after just getting done and how it really Timberland, it was a lot.
Yeah, so how it really kicked off, I would say we had some film companies come down.
Okay.
And that's when it really started getting serious, because I was like, okay, they're wanting to film and stuff like that. And so I had met a lady named Keisha in LA, and she's with a production company, a really big one. And I was like, they were at the Bill Pickett Rodeo, and I was like, you guys need to come down and get some real Oklahoma Cowboys, like some real things that goes down in Oklahoma. And so they came down, and that's where it kind of like really in my head was like, okay, this is gonna really turn into something like business. Like, we gotta really start taking things serious. And so the next thing I would say happened after that, after they come, was, it wasn't Timberland, it was something else. I can't remember what, it was something else that really made it really official, like how Oklahoma Cowboys official, but the really biggest thing was Timberland.
Yeah.
How that happened, they just reached out over email. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it was just like your reels that kind of.
Yeah,
really
it was the reel.
It was like one reel got like 1 million views.
The reels just kept taking off.
I think that's what you kind of missing out, because it was just like the page was going crazy.
The page was just doing its own movement by itself, and so
like all the consistency and everything he's been doing was like paying off. It was just like overflowing.
Well, and it's smart on Timberland's part, right? Because Timberland is, quite an iconic brand in the community too, right? Like, it's
when I reached out,
I can't pull off Timberland boots like you can pull off Timberland boots, right? That's what we're saying, so it's really cool. And obviously that happened, like, that obviously went live launched after you got back from Paris. But obviously it's been in the works before that. So how was that process? What happened when they reached out, and what was your reaction to that first?
So I'll tell you the whole process. So I was asleep early in the morning, and my mom, she calls me, because she looks at all my emails and she keeps track of everything that's going on. She calls me and was like, hey, Timberland reached out. I said, what? Like, this is like 5 o'clock in the morning. No, I would say 6 o'clock in the morning, because they're ahead of time. So it's like 7 o'clock there. So they already sent the email. And so she never calls me that time of the morning, because she's getting ready to go to work and stuff like that. So I'm like, what could she be calling for? She's like, guess what? You won't believe it. Timberland reached out. I said, what? Timberland? What? Like, I didn't believe her. Then I went to go look at the email. I was like, dang.
You're on the map.
Dang. I'm like, what?
And then you told me what it was.
Yeah.
They were doing a collab. Like, they wanted to do a Black
and then I called her. I called you next.
Oh, yeah. We were screaming on early in the morning. It was like 6, 7 in the morning. I was like, what?
Yeah. So that happened. Then we scheduled a Zoom call with them, and
that happened like fast.
They happened all fast. It happened all fast because they had a strict timeline. They were trying to get this done. This is all like late October to November. That we had to get this done, because we shot in November.
Because look, we went to New York in September. You got your first pair of Timberland. Like, you can't forget that. Come on, tell it.
So I went to New York Fashion Week in September. Got my first pair of Timbs, and at the time I was like,
you just wanted Tim's because
no. So at the time, I wanted to do a rodeo in 2025. I was like, I need a big brand to like sponsor like the rodeo. Like, I was like, I don't know who it could be. I don't know if it could be Nike, Jordan. I don't know who, Under Armour. I don't know who it could be, because I remember Ivan telling me at Old Muggy, I was like, bro, tell me how you got your sponsors. Like, I need some sponsors like you. Like, come on, tell me, like give me some game. Like, because I need to do, I want to do a rodeo, but I want it to be big. And he was like, you got to think outside, you got to see who you want, and you got to think outside of the box. And when he said think outside of the box, and he started naming off some brands, I'm like, okay, you're right. These brands would love to get behind, Black Cowboys and the things we got doing on in Oklahoma. So when I was in New York, I brought my first Timbs, and I didn't even think Timberland. I didn't even think. And
that was in September.
Yeah, that was in September. Yeah. And October came around. They reached out October. Like, I would say they reached out early November, like early October, late October, early November, and boom.
Yeah.
Never would have thought Timberland.
Yeah.
So what was their vision and the collab on? Like, did they just kind of say, hey, put your boots on, let you run with it? Or did they fly in? And like, how
they got on a Zoom call. They had a whole vision of they had a whole background vision of like Black pioneers, and I can't exactly recall the whole Zoom call, but Black pioneers and like outdoors, because they are an outdoor brand, and so they were wanting to collab with Oklahoma Cowboys, and so they asked me who did I have a videographer, and I didn't tell them that I was a photographer. Because I remember I telling y'all I didn't want to shoot no more. Yeah. I did want to shoot, but I didn't want to shoot. So Brian, he was like, "Are you a photographer?" Like, they started bringing up my work. They found my work, and I was like, "Yeah, I shot that." And it was like, "What do you want to shoot the Timberland campaign?" Yeah. And I was like, "Sure." I'll be down. Right. And so that's how the Timberland thing kind of happened. And so when they came down, they did come down, and they basically gave us full control of like picking the people. I picked Raul for the video. I gave them recommendations to who, but so yeah, they gave us full control. They gave her full control, style, everything.
They trusted me. It was like no pressure. Like they were breathing down my back. They were like, "Oh yeah, it looks great." Like
Brian and Andy,
they were with it, and they also put their input in. They helped me out. They were like, it could look a little bit more natural. They're Cowboys.
They was kind of like, "Y'all got this."
Yeah, right. And really, the Cowboys had it was a good thing to ease my way into the industry because it wasn't so much pressure, but it was pretty simple because the boys got to just dress and do their thing how they really wanted to, just with some Timberland logos, really.
Some sweaters,
it's kind of a perfect scenario, right? They're like, hey, just wear our clothing, but do what you do, right?
Yes.
It was they great. Take hands off. They know what they want, but they kind of there's a reason they're coming to you, right? Because they know they've seen, obviously they've seen what they want and the vision that they have, you fit in that, and that's kind of nice to have. Nice experience as well.
And another thing is, Timberland lines so much up with the Cowboy, and I don't know why I never thought about Timberland. Yeah. They line up so much with the Cowboy world because they have button downs. They have their pro side has everything, overalls and everything that you would think a cowboy would wear. Yeah. It's just they don't have cowboy boots. Yeah. So that's why, I don't know, that's probably why I never did think of
you got cowboy boots now.
So how soon then after that does the Louis Vuitton thing happen?
So Louis Vuitton reached out through email too. Yeah. And actually, hold on, I want to add to this. I asked Brian and them, I said, how did you guys find Oklahoma Cowboys? I'm curious. I'm how did you find Oklahoma Cowboys? I asked Louis Vuitton the same thing. I was like, they was like, we searched Black Cowboys and you guys popped up.
There you go.
They both said that?
Yeah. They both said that.
That's what you wanted, right?
They found us on social media.
That's what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
That just speaks to the brand and the whole community that you're trying to kind of show off and showcase.
Right. It's like, I'm like, dang, shout out to the reels.
Yeah, exactly. People listening.
Do not stop hashtagging.
Right. But okay, so Louis Vuitton reached out through email also, and I was in the car at TK. We were about to shoot some content, and
we was on the phone.
Yeah, we were on the phone, and an email had came across my screen, and it said Louis Vuitton 24 Pharrell Williams. And I was like, friend, you won't believe what I just got across. We were FaceTiming too. She was like, wait. She was like, what is it now? Because we already freaked out about the Timberland thing. Right. So we was like, what is it now? Yeah. And so I was like, you won't believe. And I was like, I slowly scrolled down on the email. Like you know how it comes across your screen at the top? Yeah. I slowly, and I was like, it looked fake at first. I didn't think it was real because Louis Vuitton, that's a big brand. Come on, they ain't about to mess with us. So it's just but it had a lot of tuned details in there. It had everything Pharrell Williams, it had hairstylists, and it had some big names in there. I was familiar with the stylists and stuff like that, and I was like, dang, this is real. And so I told her, and I was like, man, I could barely record the content. I could barely focus on what we were supposed to be doing that day, which was shooting with TK. So that's how the Louis Vuitton, that's how I found out.
So what do they say? What's in the email? What are they like?
So
obviously Pharrell was kind of
so it did have it did have Pharrell. Sorry, it did have Pharrell. Sorry to cut you off. It did have Pharrell in there, but it also had the exact names of the Cowboys that they wanted in the email.
Your Cowboys?
Yeah.
So they researched everything and they said, we want this one.
Yeah, they researched it on their own hands.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been telling the Cowboys, watch what you do. Don't be reckless on Instagram. Don't be doing all XYZ because
y'all have people watching
y'all have people watching y'all. And what's crazy, after I got the email, I went to go look up some of those people on Instagram, and they were already following Oklahoma Cowboys, and they were already following some of the Cowboys. I'm like, they were already following my personal page. I had no clue.
I went to go look. It was like 8 of y'all that they were following from Oklahoma Cowboys.
I was like, dang,
wow.
like, but it was
following for a while,
and watching for a while, and that's why I tell them, watch what you do, because everything matters. And so, where was I at? Where were we at? I'm sorry.
Where does it go from the email, and what's in the email? Like,
so they have the exact names attached to the email, which was Taylor and Ronnie. They didn't have Kamal to attach to the email, because Kamal is from California. But I know him from the Bill Pickett circuit. So they had Ronnie and Taylor, and so I called Taylor. I was like, bro, you won't believe this. Like, you won't believe this. Don't tell nobody yet, but you won't believe this. You can tell your mom and stuff, but like, you won't believe this. Louis Vuitton reached out, and he's like, he pauses for a second. He's like, what? Like, and then so that's where it goes from there.
And it's so crazy because you said whenever you were telling about your first photo shoot with the Cowboys, you started with Taylor.
Yeah.
And then now, where it's at now, it's like, it's crazy.
So again, like the Timberland one,
Taylor and Ronnie.
I'm about to say,
because me and Ronnie had shot
that's like
way
your
before.
First Cowboy you really ever shot is Ronnie.
Yeah. But it wasn't. Yeah, it was. But it wasn't like.
It wasn't a Cowboy shoot.
It wasn't a Cowboy shoot. It was just like just some random
set for you too.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of stuff.
It was a bunch of stuff before with Ronnie too. Ronnie Davis.
So again, what happens? Like, after you freaking out and calling everybody, like, what's the process? Do they have to fly you out? Do they fly here? Like, what was their vision? And obviously they named the guys they wanted.
So Narissa responds to the email, and we have to send them a walking video.
Okay.
So Taylor and Ronnie sends a walking video too on his own, because in that email it did have Ronnie's name attached to it, but they also had emailed Ronnie too.
Yeah.
But they had no contact to Taylor. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So Ronnie sends over his walk video. Me and Taylor sent over his walk video, and Taylor's walk video got a pushback. Okay. They was like, he was dragging his feet. He needed to pull up. He had slides on too, which it was like, we were just trying to, it was all a fast process. So we were trying to get the video as ASAP.
And for people listening, walking as in like walking down a catwalk.
Yeah. Catwalking. We got pushed back from Calvin, which was from the agency that reached out also on behalf of Louis Vuitton. And so, I had Taylor do the walk video, and then he got pushed back, and then I showed up to their family photo shoot, and Taylor and them were doing a family photo shoot, and I had him do another walk video, and I sent that off, wait a couple weeks, didn't hear back from him, and I would say we didn't get the confirmation that we were going until 2 days before the fashion show.
What?
Yeah, nobody knows that.
Like, but you're on like pins and needles.
I know. Yeah,
I was like, man,
but I knew they were going.
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew. He always was like, friend, I haven't gotten nothing back. I'm like, y'all are going.
I haven't gotten nothing back. I was nervous. I was like, because it was like a big opportunity. I was like really wanting to happen and stuff like that. And so I was like, man, are they gonna email back? They didn't book the flight 2 days before the flight.
So just so I'm clear, this whole time they reach out, they say, we want Oklahoma Cowboys to walk in our fashion show, and the theme is cowboy theme that Pharrell's put together.
First, I didn't know
in Paris.
Yeah, I didn't know it. Yeah, I didn't know it was cowboy theme.
Okay. I don't think nobody knew.
Nobody knew it was cowboy.
They just wanted to see. They just wanted the character of Oklahoma Cowboy in quotes, like, and then you didn't know obviously what you were wearing, because they were not going to send you what you were wearing, because just in case you release it, and that ruins their whole spread.
Right.
Yeah.
So 2 days before you get the email confirmation that boys, you're on a plane, let's go.
Yeah, all they had in the email was Pharrell's name, who the stylist was, who was the makeup, who was the nails, and it had 2 example videos of their previous shows.
Okay.
And Pharrell's bio. That's all it had, if I'm being for Pharrell. It didn't have no cowboy, it didn't have no inch of cowboy theme in there at all. They were just wanting them.
So you round everyone up, no pun intended, and jump on a plane.
Yep.
To Paris.
Yep.
That's a long flight.
Yeah. Actually, our flight.
Did you do Dallas direct to Paris?
Yeah, it was Dallas to Paris, and the flight was 8 hours. Yeah. It didn't feel that long. It didn't feel that long going, because I was super excited to get there. Yeah. But coming back was, oh my gosh! I was like, I kept going to sleep, and I was like 6 hours. I woke up, it was like 6 hours. Like, Man, get us there. Get me home.
His phone was dead the whole way back too.
Yeah.
We were freaking. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god.
My phone was dead the whole way back.
Friend, you gonna go missing right now when all this is going on? Like, it's us to go up.
Yeah.
So, tell me what you land in Paris. You've got you, and then how many of you total is there? With like, how many did you go with total from here?
2.
Just the 2.
Oh well, Ronnie's on a separate flight.
Okay, but so total, you're like, there's just 4 of you there total.
Yeah, 4 of us total there. And so we're all staying at the hotel. We get off the flight. There's a guy waiting on us that takes us to the hotel. Louis Vuitton had us.
Kind of has the name in the card.
They had us.
5-star service.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, they had us feeling like kings, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
They had a little guy holding the thing, so he took us in a nice little car, and we went over to the hotel, and everything was like, I had no clue where we were going. My phone was barely working. Yeah. I mean, I knew the hotel, but this dude could literally kidnap us.
Right.
Because I had no clue. Our phones weren't working. Yeah. It was roaming. But I did have my roaming settings on, but it still was not, the data wasn't all the way there. So I couldn't call you easily if something did happen. But okay, so we get to the hotel and we're like, dang, we made it to Paris. They have to go to a fitting as soon as we get there at 12. And so we wait on Ronnie. Ronnie's kind of late Ronnie's already there at the hotel. Ronnie's late to his fitting, and we all get in a taxi. We go over to the fitting. We get dropped off where the fitting is, but it's at the Louis Vuitton headquarters. This place is nice, like top tier, nothing I've never seen before. Yeah. So we walk, like, there's a whole security process. We walked in, go through like these little security things, and go up the elevator. We on the thing that says LV and the like a mirror thing. It was nice. Like, then we get there, we walk in, get off the elevator, we walk in. And there's these 2 doors that say no social media. Yeah. This is fitting, like no phones. Mm-hmm. And so we go in, and the Cowboys, they do the fitting and stuff like that. And from there, that was the fitting. That was day 1. Yeah. It was the fitting, and that was the first time I got to see the clothes too. And so,
what was your reaction to the clothes first time? And I guess that's the first time you figure out.
So I didn't get to go. I didn't get to go all the way into the room. I did go in there for a brief second, and I did see something, but I didn't get to go in there because it was like strict. They were strict. Everything was so strict. Yeah. And so if you were not walking in the show,
you need to go sit down.
Yeah, you need to go sit down. So I had to wait out in the little waiting area, but I did get to see a glimpse of something. There was a lot going on in that room. There was people sewing. There was people walking. There was clothes everywhere. It was a big room full of like everything, but I did get to see a glimpse, but I had to wait. And so they came back out, and they were in there for a minute, strong minute, and they got to meet Pharrell and all that, and Pharrell was like very happy to meet them and honored to meet them. Like, they were in there longer than any of the other models.
Sick.
So,
did you get to meet Pharrell?
No, I didn't get to meet Pharrell.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I didn't get to meet Pharrell.
That's not fair.
I did see Pharrell. Me and Pharrell were in the same room.
Breathing the same air.
Yeah, we were saying that shaking hand. No. No.
So, I'm sure the Cowboys.
But he was honored to meet the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm sure they're like losing their minds at this
time. That's what he was doing?
Right?
Yeah, he was like,
right?
Yeah, he was like.
Yeah. So that's day 1.
That was day 1.
Like, I assume at dinner that night, you guys are just like, what? Like, how are we here right now?
What?
Right?
Yeah.
And also
like in a dream.
Right. And also back to what you said right at the beginning of this was like, you did have a dream to go to New York and be in high fashion. Now you're in Paris doing this, right? Like,
with Cowboys.
Yeah. And that's how, like, I love how, like, you know, people listening might not be into manifestation and all that. I think it's the cheat code. It's the greatest thing
and
ever.
And then him going to get them Timberlands in September, he had no...
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, so
like full circle.
Day 2. Tell me about day 2.
Dang, what was day 2? There's been so much happening. Day 2 was rehearsal.
Okay.
Rehearsal. So they had to be there at a certain time, walk in...
And are you with them this time too? Or?
Yeah, I'm with them. After this, I'm with them the whole entire time. Yeah. It was just that they were just so strict about the clothing process, and
I get it.
Yeah. They just want to hold everything tight because you never know, somebody might slip that on social media, and then it's over.
Millions of dollars are going down the path.
Yeah. So after that rehearsal, so Let's see. I'm trying to think. So we take a taxi to rehearsal, and it's at the Louis Vuitton Foundation. Day one was at the headquarters, but it's at the foundation now. And so I walk up, and they're all setting up and stuff like that. We walk through like a little security person, and he's like, "Who are y'all with?" and stuff like that. So we show him our email, and they're setting up the red carpet, and we walk up to the building where they're having it at, and I'm just like I haven't even walked inside, but it's like a whole building that they built just for the fashion show.
Yeah.
Like a whole grounds. Like, I'm like, dang, this is crazy. And so I walk in, and I'm like, there's screens everywhere. It's like all the whole background that people have saw, that everyone has saw, that was LED screens.
Oh yeah, the desert.
Yeah, the desert, okay. That was all LED screens. So it was bright in there. And so it was like nice. I walk in, I'm like, dang, this is crazy. This is like the real deal. So the rehearsal goes on. So the Cowboys goes off with the crew behind stage. I'm sitting down in the little seats waiting on them to do their own thing. And they come out. I'm just like, dang, please let them do good. Please let them do good. They cannot mess this up. Like, this is serious. This is serious. But the first round they did come up, they did kind of mess it up. And I texted them. I was like, y'all, Kamal was a little head, get it together. Like, please get it together. And so the second round they come out, they did good. But they keep going to rehearsals, and then the powwow group comes out, and I start texting you and your mom, because I'm like, they would absolutely love this. Like, this is crazy. It was like their heritage.
I was here in OKC crying. Because
I was
crying,
videos.
Tears of joy, tears of like, why can't I be there? And I was just like, just happy for him, because I was seeing everything. Yeah. And the boys were posting. I was like, oh my gosh, this is
because like the drums, I'm just like,
yeah, I'm Native American. I'm indigenous. So whenever I seen that it was like a thing about, because he told me, he was like, it's like they have like drummers here. Like,
they have real powwow. Native Americans there. Like, it looked like a powwow.
And it's crazy because we went out to this food place, and we ran into this guy. He had noticed my jewelry. He was like, oh, what tribe are you? And we just started talking, and he was like, my son is gonna be actually out in Paris, Louis Vuitton. They emailed him, and I'm like, shut up.
Like, I have a friend.
I'm like, hold on, friend, listen to this. And they started talking or whatever. I don't even know how that call went. I just connected that. I'm like, look, y'all both be there.
And so his son was in the powwow. One of the drummers.
One of the dancers and drummers. So it was really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. It was a full circle moment.
So it was cool. I followed the boy. I think he was like 17, 18. Yeah. I followed him. So I was seeing it from the model's perspective. Yeah. Then I was going to see it from Native indigenous people that have never been to Paris. Right. Then everybody's looking at them like, oh my gosh, there's Native Americans in Paris. Yeah. It was crazy.
So the rehearsal, so I texted her, and I texted her mom about videos of what was going on, because the drummer thing. And then they come out, and I'm sitting there, I'm just like, wow. Like, I'm sitting there all by myself, but also there's a group of ladies I start talking to too. But in that moment, I'm just like, I almost start crying for a second, because I'm just like, I couldn't believe that, we were there. Like, this is like the biggest stage of Fashion Week right now. And we were Paris Fashion Week. Paris. And we were there. So I almost started crying. So after that, the boys came back.
Yeah, he texted like, friend, I'm gonna cry. I'm like, I'm crying right now. I'm like, just cry.
She's like, it's okay to cry tears of joy.
It's okay.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, so
such a huge.
That was rehearsal
experience. Okay.
Third day was crazy.
Was that the show day?
That was show day, Tuesday? And that was a lot. That was a lot. There's so much to talk about show day 3. That was the moment I actually got to see the first, with a glimpse of what the clothes actually really looked like, and on the boys. So it was like, I was like, dang, like everything was just, I was just shocked about everything.
And then you to see what the boys wore. They had, like, the best
I had no clue what they were wearing. I mean, they told me, but because when I went into the room for a glimpse second, I only could be in there for a second. I only didn't see anything. But they were in there for a second. They were doing walking. They had no videos, no phone, no pictures. So when the third day, when I got to see what they had on, I was just like, yeah, this is about to be real. And then, like, I'm I'm like holding back from posting on social media.
Right.
And when a show starts and the show's over, I'm like, this has gotta go. This has gotta go. Like,
it was crazy how fast he was doing that.
I rip up a real quick.
I'm like, who is helping him?
I was ripping up a real quick. I was on my phone like the whole entire time trying to get everything on social media because I'm like really the only person that's really running the social media.
Oh yeah, he does it.
Everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, people don't realize how much work that takes.
Yeah, it does. Like during when they were doing like the powwow dances, I was like putting a reel together.
Yeah, I know.
Because they had to get on social media.
Yes, immediately. You can't be the last one to post it.
Because I kept seeing Complex and I kept saying, I was like, oh, we gotta get something else.
Because you couldn't be the last one to post the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Everybody was posting them. So it's like,
Well, because like it was such a shock to the rest of the world, right? No one ever thought about it being a Cowboy thing.
And
right?
another thing is, nobody knew in Oklahoma that they were going.
Nobody.
Right? The whole world didn't know, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, because no one thought that Pharrell was going to do a Cowboy theme.
Nope.
out of nowhere.
No.
Which is just
and when I saw the clothes, I was like, even you being, I mean, the indigenous part, I was like, Seanell is going to freak out right now. Her and her mom, like, are going to freak out.
On screen,
like the buttons and everything.
It was just like little turquoise. The details was amazing. They did so good.
When I saw it for the first time, I was like, man. I didn't know what to think. I was like,
and they included the cult, like they included real people that were in what the brand was inspired by. Yeah. They called the Cowboys. They called the drummers from, I don't even know what state they was from, but I know there was some from Oklahoma.
I think they were from Utah.
Yeah. Utah? Yeah. Was it Lakota?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure. It's crazy. But even the designs on the bags, a lot of the things that were designed with Native American, they didn't just go do that. They had Native American artists to design that and be a part of it. So it was amazing. It was great to see for Oklahoma Cowboys, because this is my friend and I'm a part of something so big. And then for just being indigenous, to see indigenous people in Paris being showcased on a huge Louis Vuitton Paris platform. It was big. It was like 2 wins.
And then Pharrell put Taylor in like the best outfit.
Was that
that's what I said. I'm like, Taylor.
Yeah, I'm looking at the reel now and I'm just like, that red, like.
Yes. I loved all of them, but the Taylor's was just the one that stood out.
During the show, I was so nervous too. I was like, man, just please let them do good. Please let them do good. Like this is like, it was like
the world stage.
Yeah, right? It's like it was live.
Please don't fumble.
Please don't fumble. Please don't make Oklahoma Cowboys look bad. Like it was just like, dang. Like
they look like real models.
They walked out.
They did their
I will say during rehearsal, Ronnie, props to Ronnie, like he looked like the real deal. Yeah. Like he was looking like the real.
Even in rehearsal?
Yeah, even in rehearsal, he was killing it. I was like, bro, you killing it right now. You killing it. I was like, hey, you killed it.
Tell me about the Cowboys. What's their day job? Like, what do they do? Like, this is.
So I know Kamal.
It's crazy that they just go, pick them to go, right? The story's nuts, but like, they have a day job as well, right? Yeah. For them, this is an insane experience, but sadly, they don't get to do this.
Yeah. Kamal. Works at a dealership, car dealership, and then he runs with the Bill Pickett circuit and does Cowboy stuff. Ronnie does everything. He does a lot of Cowboy stuff. He's like a handyman. He's cowboy. I know he works on this ranch. He does a lot. Yeah, a lot. Taylor, he actually is he's working to be a veterinarian. Yeah. And so
just 3 normal dudes.
That's so cute.
Right?
Yeah. He graduated to be a veterinarian at OSU. So
brilliant. Yeah. I can't imagine what they were going through, what you're all going through, like you're there. Yeah. Tell me about like just outside of just going to coffee in Paris with 3 Cowboys. Like how was that perceived?
What was it again? I'm sorry.
What was the reaction to just general people in Paris when you 3 or 4 you walk down the road? You're dressed in your cowboy gear. You're just kind of going to get coffee. You're going to get dinner or something. Like, how was that? Because they don't have Cowboys in Paris.
Right. They're shocked. Yeah, they're looking at us like, whoa, what are y'all doing here? Who are you? Like everybody's looking at us like, oh my gosh, like black cowboy, like Cowboys, but black Cowboys, like. I've never seen this before. Because
Cowboys, like if you went up there and you had a hat on, they'd be like, oh wow, a cowboy, what? Yeah, but y'all black and y'all a cowboy, and you got dreads and you got all this. It was just so many different levels. And then Ronnie looks like a Native American cowboy too, as well. So it's just like different colors of Cowboys. They were like, wow.
Yeah, I know when we were
just imagine. Even in videos you sent me, you could just see people in the background.
Yeah. Did anyone stop you for photos?
Not that I agree. I think so, not
just taking photos of you instead.
Maybe them.
Yeah, maybe them. Yeah.
But no one's like, hey,
people were stopping to get our social media though.
That's good.
Yeah, so because I remember we went into one store and they were like looking at them. They was like, "Do you guys have Instagram?" They were telling them that they were Cowboys and like they was like rodeo. So I will say when we were talking to people, everybody doesn't know where Oklahoma is.
Yeah, no, they have no.
They have no clue.
Zero idea.
We have to mention Texas.
Yeah, you just say.
And they're thinking when we say Texas, they're thinking like back in the day.
Yeah.
Shooting, shooting. That's what they thought about. Yeah,
like revolver guns. Like
So they don't. I've never heard of Oklahoma.
Nope.
No,
they're clueless where Oklahoma is, so they're shocked.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're thinking like lasso, like riding on a horse.
They're thinking Clint Eastwood.
Maybe not right now, but maybe, I don't know. Right. A couple years back, you would tell somebody you're from California, you're from Oklahoma. They think you're out in the country living on a farm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, Oklahoma's not all like that, but we are a country.
So no one everybody we want, because we were talking to everybody, but nobody that we ran into that they were like, Oklahoma?
Right.
Where's that?
Yeah.
Where's that on the map?
Tell me about any after parties you guys get invited to. Like, what's the vibe after the show gets done?
After the show, we all go back to the hotel and we change.
Get a little wild in Paris?
Yeah.
It's a good spot to go on a night out.
Yeah, we went to this club and we were with
I don't know, he won't put this in there. Y'all can cut it out if you want to, but he like, friend, they don't want to go home. They got to be up early.
Oh, yeah.
They was in the club at 4 a.m.
No, put that in there. Put that in there. Yeah, we were at the club and I was getting irritated because they had to go to the show the next day and we had to be at the show.
And you need to be well rested. You want to look tired as a model.
You want to know what time we had to be at the show for show day?
Probably 6 a.m.
It was 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
And they had to be there all the way until we left like 10.
12
at night?
Yeah.
8 a.m. to 10 at night?
Yeah, and they wanted
a 14-hour day.
But the night before, we were at the club hanging out, and they were... we were there until like 4 or 5 a.m. Yeah. And the rest of us texting us like, have y'all at the hotel yet? Are y'all at the hotel yet? And I'm texting her irritated. I'm like, bro, we need to go. We need to go because these dudes are going to be so tired and I don't want them to like mess up tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So, but they killed it.
I was just like, friend, they never been in Paris.
This might never ever happen.
They never been to a club in Paris. Like, let them live it up. Yeah. They're going to kill it tomorrow regardless. They know where they got to be.
Right.
So I was like,
I was irritated.
I know. I understand. He's in manager mode. Exactly. He's not letting up. He does not play. Like, he's always in business manager mode. Yeah.
It's a huge opportunity.
It is.
You need to be serious.
Yeah.
And they're
like, we should have left the club a long time ago. We should never even went.
Nothing good happens after 1 a.m. You should be home.
Right.
4 or 5 a.m.
We're leaving the club and they're like, oh, let's go. Where are we going? I'm like, where are we going? The hotel. You have to be somewhere. I'm telling Shadir, I'm like, bro, it's like, we gotta go. He's looking at me like, I know.
Okay, because this is one of my favorite lines in movies. Did anybody say Royale with cheese in Paris? You know that line, right?
No.
Come on, Samuel L. Jackson when he's in Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
Is it Pulp Fiction? And he's like, you know what they call a cheeseburger?
System.
You know what they call a cheeseburger in Paris? Royale with cheese. Okay, so I will tell you, what they call a double cheeseburger in Paris is a Royale with cheese.
What?
Yeah.
Dang,
Like Samuel L. Jackson line.
He went to McDonald's. He showed me the menu too.
I didn't eat at McDonald's, but I went to the McDonald's. We just walked in there to get some Wi-Fi and look and see. But McDonald's down there,
not the same, huh?
Not the same down here. They got a whole bakery.
Yeah. You don't get refills on drinks in Europe. I can tell you that much.
Dang, yeah. They had a whole menu like full of different salads, and it just looked a lot more healthier than what we got down here.
We're like, oh my gosh, America!
Like, come on, double cheeseburger fries.
But I will say it was very hard to eat down there.
Why is that?
Because everything that we eat tastes so different.
Like, actually has flavor, or like
it didn't have no flavor.
No.
Like America has flavor.
Yeah.
Chemicals.
All right.
Okay, let's not get into
chemicals. Yeah. Let's bring this one home. Where does it go from here? Where are we going? Black History Month's coming up. Do you guys have anything planned for that other than the Timberland thing you've done? Like, where, what is, I guess, the vision, the plan? I mean, what do you want to do next?
So right now we are on works the Timberland thing comes out. That is on social media all over. That was been in the works, but we're going to New York for Fashion Week down in February, and for a panel with Timberland.
Sick.
So really nervous about that, but that's gonna be a really big deal.
You see how well he's doing?
He's doing great.
He's doing great.
Yeah, I hope I did good, y'all.
You do.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah.
But and then after that, what the really biggest plan is, I'm working alongside our writer Chloe Flowers. Put a lot of hard work in. We're interviewing a lot of historical cowboys in Oklahoma, which launches February 1st for a Black History segment that we're releasing through Oklahoma Cowboys, and then also on the burner side of that, Chloe is working hard on our summer camp.
Okay.
So Chloe's an educator, and she works in the school districts in Dallas to be educates the teachers of the curriculum. So she works alongside of me. She's a good friend, longtime friend, and so she's working to produce the summer camp with me. And also Janae, she works on my nonprofit board. She's a big help of the summer camp too. So everything. Yeah.
Everything's coming together.
Yeah, everything is falling in place.
Together.
Yeah. Janae is definitely a big help on the summer camp
shout out to Chloe and Janae.
Yeah.
Hey.
Where do you send people? How can, if someone's listening to this, they're like, man, I love the story, I want to be involved. Do you guys have a website or a foundation? How do they donate money and just kind of help you guys out?
OklahomaCowboys.org, and also on the Instagram and email.
Okay.
Yeah, email is definitely the quickest way to get things moving.
And I'll put the Instagram in the description down below. If you're not already following it, you should. You should. Yeah, I'm excited.
And I will say, everybody stay tuned for 2025 rodeo.
Rodeo's
I don't know
coming.
where it's gonna happen.
If you could just wave the magic wand, where would you have it?
So
Paycom Center.
No, it's not gonna be Oklahoma.
Okay.
I want to take it to where people don't know anything about Black Cowboys. Well, Houston. Okay, so here's the options. Looking at Houston, and I'm looking at New York.
Okay.
Oh yeah. New York is.
New York.
Can you have a rodeo in the Garden, Madison Square Garden?
I don't know.
That would be a spot.
That'd be a spot. Maybe Brooklyn.
Spot.
That would be great.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Houston or Brooklyn, New York is going down.
Love that.
Or maybe Atlanta.
Both.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
Atlanta would be cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you sharing stories. I can't wait to just check this out. Keep checking in. Keep seeing what you guys are doing. And
This is fun.
Yeah, this was fun. You like it?
Yeah, it's good.
He was so nervous.
You should start one. It's the easiest way to capture content.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Right?
You probably should start it like
super easy.
the
Capture
Cowboys.
stories. I tell everybody this, but you should start a podcast. But thank you so much for everyone listening. Go to the Instagram, the description, and we will catch you next episode. Cheers.
All right, peace out, y'all.
Hope you guys enjoyed that great episode. Thank you so much for listening. As always, huge shout out to our sponsors, the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, sharing Oklahoma story through its people since 1927. For more information on the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, go to www.oklahomahof.com and follow them on Instagram for daily updates at OklahomaHOF. Our other sponsor, the Chickasaw Nation, amazing sponsor. They do amazing things for the state, and they're always sponsoring something in Oklahoma. They're a huge supporter of Oklahoma, and without their support, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And our third sponsor is Diffie Ford Lincoln down in El Reno. Now, this one makes me so happy because these guys are great friends of mine, play a lot of golf together. I've bought my cars from them, do most of my oil changes down there, have a cup of coffee, hang out down in El Reno. It's a good spot to go. And not only are they great friends, but they provide a great service. So for over 60 years, third generation family owned Oklahoma business down in El Reno. They're also in Bethany as well. So people in the Bethany area know the Diffies really well. But if you're looking for anything new, used, Ford, Lincoln, or whatever, I'm sure they could find anything you want. Check them out, diffieford.net, and then on Instagram at diffiefordlincoln. This episode is presented by Citizens Bank of Edmond. Citizens Bank of Edmond has been serving Edmond since 1901. They pride themselves on investing in the community and are here for all your personal and business banking needs. For more information, go to mycitizens.bank and follow them on Instagram at citizensedmond, as well as
go bank there, because I bank there too. It's been a fantastic personal experience for me. I've had my podcast account there now, my podcast business account there now for 4 years now, I think, and it's been fantastic. So definitely worth your time. They're a great group of people, and they're always there to answer the phone when I forget my password, because I seem to forget it daily. So yeah, go to Citizens Edmond and check them out. It's been awesome.
Thank you for listening. We are inspired by those around us and hope that you are too. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review so we can keep telling your stories. For more great Oklahoma content, follow This Is Oklahoma on Facebook and Instagram.